I just want to give you all a quick update on a decision that the session made this last week. Um, Down in Aurora, at Aurora First Presbyterian Church, they do a lot of work with community organizations, in particular immigrant immigrations down in Aurora. There are a number of immigrant worshiping communities that use the building. Pastor Jemima's church is actually located in Aurora First Presbyterian Church. Last Easter, not this most recent one, but the one before that, they had a fire. Fire was set deliberately, and it was set intending to um, disrupt the services provided to immigrant communities. They know this because they caught the person. There was a manifesto, those sorts of things. Um, Insurance got involved and started to help, but they set a cap on how much they would be willing to pay to mitigate asbestos. There was asbestos in the building, and the cap on that mitigation meant that Aurora Presbyterian Church had to come up with $75,000. $75,000 that they worked really hard to come up with. They were able to come up with a little over half of it. Um, and we, the pastor for Aurora First Presbyterian Church, Doug Friesma, went on a trip with Julia Henderson to Zimbabwe, and in a conversation with Julia and I think and with Joe Henderson, they discovered that First Presbyterian Church of Aurora was going to be about $30,000 short, and they were trying to figure out how to come up with that money. Joe brought that to the session, and we talked about it for about 2 months, about what we could do and how we could do this. So things were kind of urgent. And the session decided that they wanted to help out Jemima and help out First Presbyterian Church of Aurora and all the other ministries that are going there. And so the session has agreed to allocate a little over $30,000 from our resources to help with the expenses incurred down in Aurora at the church there. Um, it was a lot of prayer, a lot of considerations, a lot of conversation, but we wanted to let you know, and it would be really easy for us as a church to say, look at all the resources we have. This makes sure that we have what we need. But that's not the way God calls us to live with our money. That's not the way God calls us to live in the world. And so we as a session felt it was important that we live into our values, that we love with courage, that we serve selflessly, and that we recognize that the needs of other people are something that should take priority. And so I'm really, really proud of this decision that our session has made. I'm really proud of a church that is in our kind of financial position and recognizes that blessing is there, that we might be a blessing to others. I also want to say thank you to all of you for your generosity. This church would not be in a position to do that kind of work were it not for your willingness to give, your willingness to tithe and to contribute to the work of God's kingdom. And so thank you all. If you would like to read a little bit more about what's going on down at First Presbyterian Church in Aurora and about the fire and those kinds of things, there is a link in this morning's e-news. And so you can go ahead and check that. And we will, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. Again, thank you all for your generosity, and thank you all for being the kind of church that recognizes the call that God has placed on us to serve those whom God loves.